Okay, so when you press that, okay, my next question is, still see the date showing. I don't want that date in there. I told hit off 3 times already. Anyway, my next test, audio. Close up. What's the audio going to be like when I do a distance from it? We're going to find out. I'm walking to my bench here. I'm over here now at my workbench. We'll see how the audio comes out now, talking that from my workbench. Coming back towards the camera, we're going to find the distance of what was said, where I can pick it up, where you can hear it on playback. Okay, that's test number 2, or actually it's number 3. Cable. Today, welcome to my channel, Ken's Hobbies. My name is Ken Lind. Today, I'm going to start this video off with showing of my new camera, which just arrived this afternoon. So, doing couple of tests there to see how well it's going to react. Still wish I could figure out how to get the clarity a little better on this webcam. Anyhow, I got the bearings ordered for the washer. They won't arrive until Monday. The seal I had to order from my appliance parts dealer down in Vancouver, as nobody locally had it, the seal for it. So another wait for that. As soon as it comes, now that I have a new camera, I'll be able. Okay, cute little camera this actually is. Okay, I had the camera right there when I did my audio test. And to show you the distance that I walked to the bench was that distance there. So we're going to put this in. Okay. I was over here, and this is where I was standing, and it did pick my voice up as I went there, going back now towards my living quarters portion, and back to there, and that was the distance for the audio. Next and final part will be outside with wind noise. I may still have to put a mini jack in this thing to use my other mic. We'll see on the first video that I make outside. Okay, and just to show you my new camera, I had to order new camera. Which is such a limited income, I just bought an El Cheapo one. It was under $60. It's kind of a cute little thing because you can fit it in your hand like that, making it really easy. Another feature I like about this is, like that last job I did on that washer, if I had the screen in that position, I could have seen it a lot better, and I wouldn't have to been holding it and pausing it. So that's a bonus. Or you can have it up like that, or you could put it this way, so that's a bonus. And I found out I did manage to get the setting date off on the video. Took me a little while to figure out. Right now I just got it in the USB there, charging the old battery up, and see, it's got an indicator there that's telling me that the battery's charging. And this is the telephoto zoom wide lens here. So it's got one setting on here that I don't understand yet. I'll figure it out. I'll have to experiment there. Once again, they think our eyes get so much better. This is the size of the user manual they give. Well, that's what the writing looks like when you try to read it. I can't read it without the use of that, called the magnifying glass, so I could zoom it in and focus it in to be able to read it. Anyhow, that's my next camera. It didn't arrive in time to do that washer. That's why I used the old cell phone, which I found out is very inconvenient, but I was very pleased with the way it does video for clarity. Anyhow, this doesn't seem to be too bad. I'll post my test videos in with this to show you. Oh, that seems to be a little bit better. I think I just found how to focus this webcam in a little better. At least it appears better. To begin with, I'll show you the state of the old bearings. This is the small bearing, which isn't too bad, but you can don't hear very little noise after cleaning it. This was the big bearing. This is the seal. Here, I'll explain what happened here. This seal has a double lip. One on this side, the other one on this side. Now what it's supposed to do, this side is supposed to stop water from coming in, and on the inside, this side stops any oil or grease from going out that way. Eventually, during time, there's enough lint built up in along here, opening this part here, allowing water to run through. Now, I don't know if I can focus this in, but this has this taper, so when the water runs through here, water being heavier than oil or grease pushes the oil or the grease out of the bearing. So if you look at close, you see the rust that's in here, and as you can hear it as I turn it. As you heard when that drum was on and I spun it, you heard the sound it made. Now picture that at 850 RPM in the spin cycle or faster. That's why I could hear it upstairs in the living room. Besides the washer, I'm going to give you a little update of all the projects that I got lined up for the year of 2024. First of all, my table saw. I'm going to figure out how to get this thing mounted, because as you see the length of my table itself, before I had this table here and it came off of the stand there, so that's why I decided I got to do something about it. I got to secure it down. I was going to lower the legs on this here down, but I'm discovering this is the perfect height for me with my eyesight, so we're going to leave it at that height. Also, I want to finish bolting that down, my planer as well, making it a little more better. I just temporarily got some screws shoving in so it don't vibrate off. The boat engine, I'm not happy with the way the fuel pump works, and it's giving me issues. I still haven't found a fuel filter for it, and I discovered that without that fuel filter in, it doesn't pump the gas through like there. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I said in one of my earlier videos, almost every fuel pump that I've seen, that fuel bowl right here it's always been on the bottom. So I'm going to look is if I can rotate the arm in here and switch this pump around, or put an electric pump in, which I think is my better option, putting an electric pump in. But my electric pump right there puts too much pressure for the old carburetor here, and she just overflows, and it's so much pressure that it goes past the needle and seat, flooding the carburetor, just pouring gas straight down. Well, that's no good, so I'm going to look around. I still have yet to set the timing on it as well. Got the old timing light ready, but I haven't done it. Also, I discovered, I may do another update on it, I discovered that you can get an electronic ignition replacing the distributor there with the points and condenser in it. So I may just go that route too for that. That'd be a significant update. Next on the agenda, and I think this will be my first tackle, I went to get, when I was doing the washer teardown, I went to get a puller out of here, and see my puller, I couldn't get the bottom drawer open. For some reason, this thing has sunk down and it's jammed the two drawers together. So I got to rip that apart and investigate what's going on and why it was jamming. The old camper stands here, I gotta clean them up, and I'm debating whether to paint them or get them powder coated. I do have a price on getting them powder coated, but it's a little more than I can afford, so I'm thinking just paint them. I got to start on that one there, cleaning the majority of the rust off. Our old clothes coat hanger rack finally gave up the ghost, so I got an idea out of this piece of post here and turning it into a lamp. One of these days I got to take these bottles in. Wife keeps bringing bottles from her WIC 20, and my neighbor with cigarettes keeps giving me bottles, so collection's built up quite a bit. Of course, outside I got the old boat there to get at it, repairing the frame in it and getting some new wood and fiberglass on it, and couldn't find my original wire stapler, so I had to buy me a new one. It's that one more plus over my old one. It features two. These are letter U staples. I don't know if you can see, but I have a coax cable running here to my security camera there. Another thing is to remove those speakers. I'll remove them speakers because this one has a blown woofer in it. That one has a blown tweeter in it. So when my son gave me the new set of speakers for my tape recorder, I took my old Pro Linears, and you saw the video where I put new foam in them. There. I got another fluorescent light up there, but I got to put a new ballast in it, and I may put that over my bench, replacing that far little light. But I'll put it in a different position. Somehow, I'm going to figure out a way to quieten this compressor down of mine, because it's so noisy. Every time it cuts in, you cannot hear yourself talk or anybody associated. Also got the chimney here to finish getting that repaired. An expert told me how to repair it, and I've got a start on it, but it's as far as I've gotten. I'll check the old wood stove heater here out. I did a little cheating for my heat for the winter here. I shoved an old element in there from a dishwasher, enough to keep this whole complete unit nice and warm, which assists in the heating. The biggest project I have on the agenda, I was in a hurry in the fall when I painted my car here, and time was against me, so I just slapped the color on just so that it could have some color on and get me through the winter. Got to redo it. I've already got some scratches on the passenger door there from bringing it in and out of the shop here before I hung that bicycle up, because the pedal kept catching the door on it, and that's what scratched the door up. I gotta see about replacing those doors and putting a new overhead door in. That door is starting to jam on me in closing, and the hook at the top doesn't want to hook anymore. So it's time to check out and find out what's replacing. Because of the age of this building, that side wall is all starting to sink away, and I think this is what's causing all my problems. I need to pull those panels off and put some teleposts in it. Up here, I'd like to thin that down and reduce a lot of the weight that's in this building, because in my opinion that's way, way too much. Excuse me, for the floor that's in the attic, as my wife first called it, a loft, because it had a door on the outside. I got 2 more security cameras to change, but it got too cold for me to change them, and the old ones did work, so I left them. Thought I'd wait till warmer weather. Debating about cleaning that range up and putting it up for sale. I also have an old apartment size washer and dryer sitting in one of the sheds in the back there, that if I get time I should go through them. And now actually would be a good time with the Weiss machine down to repair. Let's see. Oh, yes. That was another thing I run out of time in the fall for. The new shed that I built. I still haven't gotten around to putting the proper, or getting the door properly fit. I just got temporarily screwed down to close it up for the winter. So I've got a few little updates to do on that there. Also, I got a 12-bar outlet. With my son moving out, he didn't want it or need it anymore, and don't need that power bar in there. So I'm thinking of taking that power bar and putting it over the bench there. Give you a shot of my old lamp, and it's already come in handy a couple of times when the power went off there. That was my mom's old lamp. I was so happy to find the globe for it. I think I did talk about that before. That's a picture of my 2 sons' trucks. We called ourselves the Ford family because the red one was top of the line. New Ford there. He had a misfortune coming back from the coast, and it was totaled off on him. The white one in the middle was my youngest son's first, well, actually his second truck, but his first one that he bought himself. And of course beside it is my old Crown Victoria. It's a 1987. Then I got the boathouse, which you saw the videos of, the temporary for this winter, to carry me through this winter. Another one is my server. I was putting the plate on it, and plate dropped in because there was no screws that hold screw to secure the plates on. So when I was putting the cover on it, it dropped on the old video card and shorted it out. Well, it blew the motherboard out on it, so that was the end of that server. I did have a video on building it. So I just pulled the hard drives out, and those are the hard drives you saw in the video that I put in my new unit. Now my sons have been talking me into rebuilding it so we can have a 3-way system going in between where all 3 of us can access it. I upgraded the old switch there. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to get in closer. But one of my sons recommended this, and he ordered that for me. That's the one switch that I need. It's a faster speed than the one I had, so that's fine. I've been quite happy with it. What else? Oh, the sun deck. I got a major issue with the sun deck going on, and that has to be redone. What's happened is one of the guy who built it before wife got this house, he didn't do it right in the first place and put the joists going from the house to the edge, instead of putting on top of the beam like you should on the top. he put it on the side. So now one of the other posts is sunk down and it's popping through the top of the deck. So gotta rebuild that sun deck. Also, it's still quite dark, so I don't know if this turned, but want to get a shot of this. This is when I last used the snowblower in the last snow job. You see it's a 20-inch. Well, my sidewalk isn't 20 inches wide, so I'm planning on rebuilding that sidewalk. But I'll do completely different to that style. And of course, anything else that comes up in the year, we'll have to tackle up who knows what. One thing I sure would like to do is I'd like to find the original gear that originally, when I lived in Edmonton, was going to take to Edmonton Gear, where they make gears to what you needed. And the gear was so worn out that it was slipping from the spring of my old gramophone here. And I cannot find that gear. So I'd like to find either another gramophone that the spring is gone or something, that I can get the gear off of it and get that one, because video camera. So that's why he made us a video when we got married. And I think that just about wraps it up for all the projects that I got ahead. Oh, there's one more project. This winter I discovered that I am losing so much heat out of this shop of mine. Icicles were dangling about 3 to 4 feet down off the roof. So I'm trying to figure out how I can upgrade from the old tar paper there and put the vapor barrier up here. Now this is such a low base to begin with, and I'd like to rip the boards off there and then put the plastic replacing the tar paper there. But every time I bang on that ceiling, so much crap comes down that I'm thinking I'll strap it the opposite way, then put the vinyl side or the plastic vapor barrier on and put gyprock on, making the ceiling a little bit brighter when I paint it. Wife wanted to paint this shop in the beginning, and I says, really, it's not worth it. But I think if I had a white ceiling, it'd give me far more lighting. I've also saw a video where a fella put LED lighting in his shop, and it's so much brighter and cheaper. Even though I've reduced my lights, I've already changed 2 of my lights, my fluorescent lights, that one there and the one behind me, above me, from the old 2-pin 8-foot tubes to the single pin 80-watt tubes. I'm finding they were brighter than the old ones and still gives me good lighting. But you've heard me say several times in my videos how I'm having issues in seeing things, so I'm thinking about upgrading to LEDs, because there's a place again where LEDs are okay as far as I'm concerned. The only place where LEDs are not okay is in vehicles. That was the biggest mistake made in vehicles, and another reason I will not have a new vehicle. 3 main reasons why I will not buy a new vehicle. Number 1 is the fact that all these new vehicles are now so computerized. And in my time, my schools always remind me, no matter what it involves, 2 words that I learned in 1967. Never assume. Or what the hell is all these codes? We've got to look up the codes. Computer checking and diagnosing a computer, giving you only a code. Now you got to look up the code. Well, what's wrong? Yeah, right. What happened to there? Half the time they're wrong. I had a good example of that with my buddy on his new Ford truck when it come to his trailer brakes. I had diagnosed it already the old-fashioned way with a test light. And when he found out he didn't have the item called the brake controller that you can manually apply your trailer brakes. He says, you're jumping in with me. We're going to go down to the Ford dealer and complain. What's the first thing the so-called mechanic comes out with? And they're not called mechanics anymore. Oh no. Well, they have to change that terminology too. I have my mechanic's license. There it is. And that's Canada-wide. I can work in any province throughout Canada. That's my interprovincial license. On there it says clearly automotive mechanic. Not anymore. Now it's technician. Right. Technician? Yeah, makes me laugh. Out comes his laptop computer. Puts it on my buddy's truck. Oh, you need a brake controller. I says, I could have told you that. I told you that in the very beginning. And I didn't need no damn computer telling me, oh, I need a brake controller. And he had to, of course, that was via code that he's looking up what that code meant. I could not stop laughing. So that's one reason. Second reason, vehicles now, doesn't matter what make, Ford, Chev, Toyota, Nissan, Dodge, as far as I'm concerned, they're overpriced or way too much. Well, at my age, why should I put myself, and that'd be number 3 reason. Who can pay cash for their vehicles nowadays? Not very many. So now you're wrapped into financing. Well, you don't own the vehicle, and that people don't realize this. It's that bank or that finance company that owns the vehicle until you make that last payment. If they're not paid, you don't make the payments, they can repossess it on you. So that is the third reason. That's why I decided I'm going to rebuild, and that's what I'd like to do with my old Crown Vic. I'd love to do a total rebuild and restoration on it. I can't afford it, but that's why I've updated and did a semi-restoration on it, repairing anything that needed to be repaired. I've got all 4 new tires on it. I upgraded it to a dual exhaust. I've put a new air, for the air conditioning, the compressor. I had to put a new alternator in it, a new water pump in it. I still have a dry shaft issue that I got to look into why I get a vibration above 65 kilometers an hour. But I ain't not doing that until we get warmer weather. So that's another task that's got to be done. Also, I should check out the front end. The other day, I noticed in the last few times I've been driving it, it's beginning to give a little bit of a wandering effect, which is telling me it's time to look at the front end, tie rods, and the ball joints. The car does have over 230,000 miles on it, so, and who knows when they were last done. All the brakes have been redone on it. I put new calipers on the front. That was another item, so slowly it's taking shape to what I've been after. And I own the car, not the bank, nor the finance company. That car was 100% mine. That's another thing. Now they're pushing for you to get electric vehicles. Ha! Right. I'm up in Prince George. You heard me earlier on say it hit 40 below. Well, go north of Prince George, up in the Yukon or Alaska. It hits as cold, and my buddy told me one time when he came down for a visit, told me it was 70 below up in Whitehorse. How good are your electric vehicles going to be up there? To me, it's a joke. Those of you who watch Matt's Off-Road Recovery and Trailmater, Rory Irish of Trailmater and Matt Wessel of Matt's Off-Road Recovery have had jobs where they've had to rescue electric vehicles already off-road. Another joke. Not only just the EVs, But all the newer vehicles, they're not giving the hookup points apparently by what they both said for recovery issues. What is wrong with the manufacturers these days? They're just out to, as far as I'm concerned, they're just out to sell their products. All a money racket. And politics, a lot to play. Now in North America, this is the big problem. California is the one that states all the laws for vehicles. Well, it's a major difference for temperature between California in the USA, the southern portion, compared to Alaska or the Yukon or Northwest Territories in Canada. That's a big, major temperature difference between those two. So what works in California will not work north. Basically, right from where I live, all north of me. There was an article that was in our paper here. Here's another one. Your so-called technology today. Now they're pushing you to go water pump heating in your house. Well, a plumbing outfit put a big article in the paper saying they are inefficient up here and not to go water pump heating. Go natural gas. I agree with them. And there's no way I'm upgrading. And they're wanting you to go full electric. Well, yeah, right. Let's go full electric. I'm running my shop on electric heaters. And they're just the old cheapo heaters. That's heater number 1. You saw heater number 2 that was in the stove there. On the other side, I got 2 heaters. It was a baseboard. They're only 110 volt. Maxes, this one here is max of 1500 watts. Well, figure your wattage out to your amperage. There's your chart, how to figure it out. Power equals, and to figure it out, you will cover the R, or eliminate that, and you see the word pi. That's how you can figure out your amperage. That'll go with Ohm's law. Well, all of your house baseboard heating they're 240 volts, 3000 watts. Well, just picture there. If the heater's in my shop, plus what the wife uses when she uses the oven and when she uses the dryer, our bill presently is hitting $500 a month. Picture what it would be if it was electric heating all through. Yeah, right. You can just about triple what I just said. Anyhow, I've been going on too long here, so that'll be it for now. So, I want to say this. See, I'm trying to figure out the way to say this properly. I would like to say thank you so very much to all those who have subscribed to my channel. I appreciate it very much. Those of you who haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. It doesn't cost nothing. My goal of this whole thing is so I can make a little extra money if I can get enough subscribers and comments. Casey Liddell's YouTube channel, he had one video there and he explained it very, very well on how YouTube works between subscribers and the comments. And according to him, the more comments, the more you get. But YouTube has a catch. Before you can make any money on YouTube, you need a minimum of 500 subscribers. It used to be 1,000 plus so many hours of viewing plus comments. Do subscribe, do comment, and we'll catch you on the next one. Till then, adios.